Es momento de presentar a quienes hacen posible que hoy hablemos de Barbie, una cinta que hace algún tiempo parecía un sueño para ellos, incluso parecía que iba a ser imposible hacerla. Y me encantaría presentarles en primer lugar a quien interpreta a Ken. Tiene una gran Kenergy, que energía, y está con nosotros Ryan Gosling. Hi, how are you? También está con nosotros, por supuesto, quien interpreta a Barbie y responsable de que hoy estemos aquí también porque es productora de la película, la mismísima y única Barbie, Margot Robbie. Y nos acompaña también quien interpreta a Gloria en esta cinta, Barbie, la hermosa América Ferrera. Hi guys, welcome. Do you want to take a seat so we start with this?
Hola, buenos días.
Hola.
Buenos días.
I'm loving how much Spanish you're learning throughout these days. Guys, thank you so much for being here, and we really appreciate you taking your time to come to Mexico. We really love you, and as you could tell yesterday, maybe, I don't know what you think. So I would like to start with the first question, which is for all of you. From your perspective, what do you think is what makes Greta Gerwig the perfect person to tell this story?
Wow. Well, I think it's her mix of humor and intelligence and thoughtfulness and heart and humanity, and the fact that she could wrap that all up in one beautiful, glittery love bomb. I can't think of another director in our generation who could have unlocked the world of Barbie to make it so relevant and fun at the same time for today.
This was your idea, so.
No, Greta was always my number one pie in the sky dream director for this film. And I think that's because you can meet her for 5 minutes and you're just so utterly charmed by her. She is so delightful, so smart, so funny, all the things America just said. And she pours all of those attributes into all her films. I always feel such a beating heart in her films. And I knew we wanted this to be kind of funny and having a culturally relevant conversation and honoring a 60+ year legacy of a brand and all those things. But if you don't really feel something, then what's the point? And I just, every time I watch one of her films, she makes me feel so much. So I also just wanted an excuse to hang out with her for, the last couple of years. So it was great. I love her.
And Ryan, how did she help you find your Kenergy?
Well, I think just an answer to your first question, I feel like she's the perfect person because she's the only person that could have directed this film. This film is so specific to who she is and as an artist and as a person that it's special when someone can have you so vividly see through the lens that they see the world. So and then in terms of Kenergy, Kenergy is still a bit of a mystery to me. Honestly, it's elusive. But I feel it in this room. You have it.
Good.
We have a Kencito in the house. Did you show everyone your t-shirt? Will you? Would you mind? Just.
Vamos a ver su camiseta.
I mean. Kencito. Oh, look at this. Oh. Incredible.
I just hope you can explain them what beach is.
Again, another mystery.
I know. Okay, so I'm going to start with questions from our press here. So, Margot, this is for you. This is from Daniel Mejia, CP6 podcast, CP6 podcast. What was the most challenging, difficult, and emotional part of filming this journey from Barbie to the real world?
The it wasn't that it was difficult per se, but it was a fun challenge to try to decide how much we wanted to lean into the dullness, both in how we move physically in the world of Barbie Land and what our aesthetic was going to be. It was just an interesting conversation every day. A new thing would pop up like, oh yeah, is there liquids in Barbie Land? Okay, that's a no. So if there's not liquids, there's not fire. Okay, so when they're sitting around a campfire, how are we going to do that? It was fun, I think, for the design team particularly to kind of come up with these creative solutions to these, intentionally boxed in, constructed, this world we were creating. We wanted the corners of the world to feel palpable and tangible and right there. Even literally so, we wanted to be able to see the seams in the painted backdrop so that you always felt that you were in a constructed world when you're in Barbie Land, and therefore the juxtaposition when you get to the real world where everything's chaotic and beautiful and unpredictable. It just helps kind of put a finer point on the journey that Barbie goes on. But it was really, I loved that challenge. I loved that part of it, and I think everyone did too. And I think our HODs, our everyone designing the film had a really good time coming up with the creative solutions, because everyone was kind of finding their inner kid and playing again, like grown adults coming up with these fun, hilarious solutions to things that were both very clever and very silly. And I think for me, this movie does both those things throughout. It's very, very clever and it's very silly at the same time. And I just can't think of another movie that pulls that off with, quite so much, artistry, but also heart.
Can I ask to the three of you, what was your favorite prop from Barbie Land? Okay.
The Kenergy is shorting out the microphone.
We can tell, yeah. Oh my God.
The slide, yes. I don't know if we can call it a prop or a set piece, but the slide was just one of two requests I made at the beginning of this process to Greta. She was like, okay, what do you want in this movie? And I think she was expecting like a long list or a very big answer. And I was like, I just want a slide that goes from her bedroom down to the pool and a mermaid Barbie somewhere. And she was like, is that it? And I was like, that's it. Other than that, do whatever you want. And she was like, done.
Are you actually considering having one in your house, maybe?
I'm not joking. I actually asked an architect if it would be possible. And he looked at me like I was insane. And I was like, no, I am being serious. He was like, no, it's absolutely not possible. I'm sure it's possible in some house. It wasn't possible in my house.
Oh my God, that's sad, but you had yours.
I had it in Barbie Land. It's good.
America.
I think for me, it was so surreal to sit in an actual Barbie pink convertible. And that was with real live Barbie. That was a moment that was so surreal for me. And the car, there was a lot of thought put behind the car, particularly like the dimensions of it, like how big or how small does it need to be to make us look like dolls but still fit in it, so everything's smaller so that we look bigger but at the same time small like dolls. And it's this gorgeous Corvette. Is it a Corvette? Barbie's pink Corvette. And it was remote controlled by a guy just sitting off camera, sitting in like a gamer seat, remote controlling us. And that was so much fun. Can I have it? The car?
Yeah, I'll talk to someone.
Okay.
I love this. Ryan, this question is for you. This is from Araceli Garcia del Universal. And she wants to know, what can we learn from a character like Ken, and what did you learn from him?
I learned that everyone needs a Ken in their life. But you need to set very strong boundaries with them.
Care to elaborate?
Just have a Ken, but have strong boundaries. That's all I could say.
I love it. America, this is a question from Melissa Velázquez, Revista Tú. And she wants to know, what do you admire the most about your character, and why did her story need to be told?
Well, I just love that Greta and Noah, told this story, and the connection with Barbie through an adult woman's experience. Barbie doesn't exist without humans. We made her, we play with her, we project all of our thoughts and ideals onto her. And all of the girls who grow up playing with Barbie grow up to be grown women. And so to explore that connection between a grown woman living in the real world, experiencing womanhood in the real world, but holding on to a childlike aspirational connection to whatever Barbie gave her, I just think was remarkable and is our way in as adults, male or female, into how this doll is relevant to us as human beings living in this world. And it's been said so many times, but this is a movie about a doll, but it's more about humanity than it is about plastic.
I love that. And well, this question is actually for the three of you, but I think it's mainly for you, Margot, as a producer. This is from Victor Olvera, the movie. And he wants to know, Barbie represented an ideological revolution with the slogan, "You can be anything you want to be." Now with, now with Barbie, the movie, what will be that new message to the world?
I think the message is, because I find it personally a little overwhelming, the idea that you can be anything and you can be everything. And I feel like in this day and age where we're all multi-hyphenates and trying to do the best we can at being so many things to so many people, the message that hit me the hardest and felt most profound to me was that you're enough as you are. You're already doing it great. You don't need to. I think there is something very aspirational about Barbie, and there always has been, but having someone just say, like, you're good just the way you are. You're good. You're already crushing it. I feel like I needed to hear that when making this movie. So I hope that's one of many messages people take from the film.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I would add to that, I think over the years, the 60 plus legacy of Barbie, she has mostly represented a single standard of beauty, a single standard of womanhood, a single standard of success. And what I think this movie is inviting is to do away with any single standard, that if it was you can be everything, now it's you can be exactly who you are, and celebrate that and be more of exactly what you are and all of what you are.
That's beautiful. Ryan, anything you want to add?
I wouldn't want to Kensplain the Barbie movie.
Okay, and that's it. Okay, I love it. Okay, so this question is for all of you. This is from Liz Hill, Sin Información y Más. And she wants to know, in Barbie Land, every day is perfect. What makes you happy in the real world? What is a perfect day like for you?
Yesterday was pretty near perfect. I love traveling, and I've been to Mexico a number of times, and I love it here so much. But arriving at that mall yesterday, and I've literally never experienced anything like that. I mean, I've been to Comic-Con, I've done the premieres and been to Cannes, and nothing compared to what we witnessed yesterday. It was honestly so overwhelming. I could cry thinking about it. It was so incredible, and thank you so much. It was incredible, and the enthusiasm and the excitement, the fact that everyone was it just felt like such an explosion of joy, that I thought, oh my gosh, if I could just take this snapshot and hold on to it forever, I would never be sad again. It was amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm just going to take this moment to say thank you, because there's a reason why Mexico loves you. There's a reason why we love the three of you, and we are really happy to have you here. That's because you've really put on the shirt of this movie, and you've shown it everywhere you went. So thank you. And thank you for, being brave to make this film, because I know it wasn't an easy decision. And that being said, don't cry, Margot. We still love you. Okay. So, Ryan, I want to ask you, how would you describe the first time you saw yourself as Ken and got to explore his wardrobe? Were you like, am I going to look good in this?
It's very hard to explain. I could only compare it to having way too much tequila. where it's really fun at the moment, but it comes with one hell of a hangover.
Was it like that? Will you go home and be like, I just want to be Ryan?
I still have a bit of a hangover from it.
Didn't you get a headache from wearing all that pink? Because everything was so pink.
There was a lot of pink, and I mean, now is as good a time as any to shout out to Rodrigo Prieto, our incredible cinematographer, who I had the great honor of working with many years ago in Wolf of Wall Street, and knew immediately when we were making this film that I was like, Greta, please, let's do it with Rodrigo. And she's admired him for so many years as well. So he was so perfect. But speaking of a lot of pink, that was the bane of his existence, because as a DP, a world covered in pink, as fun as it is for the audience, not if you're trying to light it. He had to keep trying to put grey sheets over everything to mitigate the fact that we were bouncing so much pink off each other and looking a weird color. And I mean, he is the most lovely, sweet, kind, wildly talented man. And of course, he would never complain about it. But I think the pink was difficult for Rodrigo. Yeah.
It sounds difficult. And America, this question is for you from Carlos Dominguez, Fandom Película. I think you went a little bit into this, but still, what important message can we expect from this Barbie movie that not only impacts adults but also young audiences?
Yeah, I feel like I answered that. Yeah, I think that the feeling that I walk away with when watching the film is just a joyful celebration of our uniqueness and permission to love yourself exactly as you are, and to let go of what doesn't serve us anymore, you know, and I think too the realization that the things we make, like Barbie, mean what we want them to mean, and that they can shift and change as we shift and change as a people.
Do you feel like this movie somehow helped you, all of you, being more in touch with what it means to be human?
I will say yes. I think I went on an incredible journey, personally, playing this character, going through the Barbie world, and being confronted with everything that comes up when you're confronted with a perfect world, because the world isn't perfect, and we're not happy all the time, and we're not joyful in our best selves in every moment. And I think when you're confronted with that perfection, you only see your own humanity more. I think for me, my personal journey was a deeper acceptance of all of my own imperfections and embracing who I am. And look, as a little girl who did not grow up playing with Barbies, who did not see herself represented in this Barbie world, I think it's pretty amazing that this incredibly dominant and influential icon and narrative the world over has changed, has expanded to include so many more of us. And I don't think that can be understated and underestimated, what that means for young people growing up in a world where they can look up and see themselves reflected in our most dominant and celebrated narratives. And I think that for me, I've seen that change in my lifetime, and I've seen that change in my career. And to get to be the person standing in this role in the middle of this shift is deeply moving and changing.
Oh my God, this is so deep.
America just be the president of the world.
I
please.
know.
Every time she talks, I'm like, thank you.
I think everyone
I
here
needed
would
that.
vote for her. We all would vote for you, America, for sure. Okay, so I think this experience in this film was unlike anything we've seen on screen, but I can only imagine that it was unlike anything you've done before. So what is that one thing you got to experience in Barbie that you know is never going to be repeated ever again anywhere you work?
Well, I think last night was one of them. There's so many of those experiences on this film, but and they keep being more. But last night was pretty unforgettable. was such a beautiful night, and just so grateful to everyone here for that. It was very, very special. I don't think any of us will forget it. So thank you.
Thank you. I tried to warn you, we were loud people. I told you.
I know, I
yes.
love that. I have a long list of things that happened on the Barbie movie that I doubt will ever happen again in my lifetime. There's a part in the movie where Ryan plays the guitar at me, not to me, at me, which was one of the greatest things that's ever happened. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if it's ever going to happen again. I can beg you to do that again, but I don't think it's going to happen again. The slide thing, according to the architect, that's never going to happen again either. Just seeing so many adults walk onto a set and instantly turn into a child again. I mean, there were crew members who did not need to be physically on set. They, you know, like especially the drivers and stuff, like big burly men were just finding any excuse to come to Barbie Land. And in fact, where we were shooting, other movies were shooting on the same studio lot. Fast and the Furious was shooting where we're shooting, and people would kept finding reasons to pop over to our set and be like, "What's happening here?" And we're like, "Come to Barbie Land." And it was, you know, people in like SWAT fatigues and stuff, and they were just like, "Oh my gosh!" And it was, I don't think
Say that they were Ken curious.
they were very Ken curious. But they loved it. I don't know if I'll ever witness expressions on faces like that ever again. Until the movie comes out, I guess. I think you'll have that look on your face when you see the movie, I hope.
They will. I think they will. America.
I think that it's just the sheer anticipation of this film, like from the moment it was announced and just how it's been building, like how people are connected to whatever is happening. I feel like it's something that will only be understood in retrospect, and I hope that we can explain it. And I think last night was the perfect example of that, of like something is connecting in the culture in this moment, and it's probably a sum of all the parts, the people's feelings about Barbie and the amazing people who are part of bringing this to life, and also what people are desperate and hungry for right now, which is joy. I really hope that there are a few dissertations in a couple years about this moment, but I've never, ever been a part of anything this anticipated, and I don't know that that will ever happen again.
Thank you so much. And you know, this is the last question. This is for Margot. Sorry, I don't want to leave either, but this is for Margot from Eduardo de la Rosa, Movie Crazy Planet. How do you feel about talking about what America was saying? How do you feel about playing Barbie and the fact that the fans are really crazy to see the movie?
Exactly what America's saying. I've never been a part of something this eagerly anticipated. And I know how happy it makes me when I see this film, and I know how happy we were when we made this film. And knowing that we're about to give that to the world is such a nice feeling. Like, I just feel like we're about to, give everyone this big gift, and I just know they're not going to be disappointed. It is such an explosion of joy and color and love, and I think it really is just what the world wants right now.
Guys, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for all the heart you put into this film. Seriously, it shows that you really cared about what you were doing. Thank you for being in Mexico, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your time here. Gracias a todos ustedes por acompañarnos en esta conferencia de prensa. Gracias por sus preguntas. Y recuerden que Barbie estrena el 20 de julio en cines. Thank you.
Gracias.